fast you
but
were
he
going.
can't prove that.
But you don't know for a fact. I mean, your
Yeah, but it's
speedometer is
very
one
against-
thing, but do you
it's
know
his
for a
right,
fact
exactly.
how fast you were
my
going?
speedometer could be broken. His radar gun could be broken.
Ask him if he wants the metric or American system.
Of course you know how fast you were going, because if you don't know how fast you're going, that's
Well,
reckless
first of all, isn't
driving.
that a bit of a
Brit-
movie cliche?
I
Because
mean-
I've never actually been asked by a cop, do you know how fast
That
you were
is
going?
actually
A cop
a movie
usually says, the
cliche.
reason I pulled you
Yes.
over is because you were going this fast.
That's true.
Yeah.
So then he asked me about why my insurance was expired. I just stared at him.
Wow, dude.
Why is your insurance expired?
Stared him down.
Gonna give him the hairy eyeball.
And then while he was beating you, what did you say?
Well, then I told him.
Roswell.
Well, then I told him I don't have any brilliant excuses.
Wow.
I just got this car.
Yo, I remember this one time. This is a true story. Not that yours isn't, but I was in a band with Ted Allen, and the drummer of the band
No, you
was a cop.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Eddie.
And he gave me like the FOP card, because he gave everyone in the band a FOP card. And I was driving to work, and my insurance was totally expired. I knew it was expired. It was like months past. I was just like poor and I couldn't afford insurance, but I had to get to work. So I was like, screw this. So I was driving to work one day and get pulled over, and he's like, license and registration insurance card. And I give him my license and my registration, and I was like searching for my insurance card that I knew I didn't have because whatever. And I was just like, oh yeah, and I also have this too. And I because it's awkward to present an FOP card because you're just like, also I have this. And so he takes it from me, and as I'm like searching, he was just like, how do you know Ed Albrecht or whatever? And I was just like, he plays drums in my band. And he was just like, all right. He's like, I'm going to let you go this time. And I was just like, oh shit. I did not have insurance at all. Not even I forgot the card, nothing, no pay. I was pretending to look for it as he was looking at the FOP card.
That's good luck. This guy ended up letting me go on a warning.
Yeah, man. Well, here's a fun story. I know someone that was pulled over, and apparently the cop really didn't have a reason to pull over. Our friend Jared, and this is one of our...
Well, he was DWB, right?
Yeah, he was driving while black.
Yes.
So he got pulled over, and the cop pulls him over. He doesn't tell Jay. He asks him for all his credentials, asks him for his papers.
Right.
He gets them. He doesn't tell him why he got pulled over. The cop slowly and casually walks all the way around his car, apparently looking for a reason to tell him. He says, the reason I pulled you over is because... apparently, it could be against the law specifically to have the Eagles plastic license cover on your license plate.
Yeah.
So he said that's the reason I pulled you over, because on your front license plate you have Eagles.
Even though he was behind him.
And that's exactly what Jared brought up. And this is a testament to you have to behave with dignity at all times, because in a very respectful tone, Jared said, with all due respect, sir, that's in the front of my car. How could you possibly have seen that from pulling me over from behind? And you know what the cop told him?
No, what?
Gave him his shit back and said, drive safe, have a nice day. And he walked the fuck away and he went home.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyhow, we had, before our boy Britt came and joined us, we were discussing this WikiLeaks video.
Yes.
And we had just heard from a Colonel Schaefer, who was on the Alex Jones show.
For our listeners who just joined us, what's WikiLeaks?
What is WikiLeaks? WikiLeaks is
it's a website that
they leak videos.
Why Wiki?
Wiki? I don't know. I think they were trying to play on the whole Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I don't think it's technically a wiki, because I think in order for it to be a wiki, you're supposed to be able to.
Pardon my ignorance. What does that actually mean?
Because I assumed it was a public edit.
You want to know what wiki means? Wiki is the Hawaiian word for quick.
Oh, okay.
But
nice.
The point of a wiki is supposed to be edited content. So user edited content, it's different from a blog. A blog you can only comment on, but a wiki you can change the actual content. But I don't think you can change the actual content on WikiLeaks.
No, I don't.
So I think it's more of a blog than a wiki.
Yeah.
Quick leaks. What other kind of quick leaks you got?
But no, we were talking about Colonel Schaefer on Alex Jones was talking about.
Well, yeah, he brought up some of the
WikiLeaks
obvious
video.
ways in which what's the official word for the military? Code of conduct. I don't know exactly what, but you know what I'm talking
the rules
about. The way
of
you're
war.
supposed to behave when you're murdering people for the bankers.
Correct.
Is there's certain rules you have to follow, and he points out right off the top of his head. He points out the two of them that were violated very blatantly. The way they opened fire on the minivan full of kids.
Right.
He points out that he has sort of this attitude that we are actually fighting this internationally reaching group called Al-Qaeda that has individuals we should interrogate to gather their intelligence. From that standpoint,
we don't use the word interrogate anymore. Other countries, fascist countries, interrogate people. United States, we interview people.
Extraordinary rendition. We send them over.
We need to interview
to other hellholes.
Yeah,
where there is no checks and balances. Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my honey bun glazed donut.
But he brings up some good points in defending these kids who killed these people, and I can see so far as defending them initially opening fire, because let's be honest, they weren't wearing jackets that said press.
Right.
Big fucking mistake.
Yeah.
As far as I don't care who you are, if I'm in a fucking war zone and I'm a journalist, you better fucking believe I'm wearing a jacket that says press.
And
not like that probably wouldn't have saved them. That's my analysis, my personal analysis watching the video. That probably wouldn't have saved their lives. They were doomed because those kids were bored and they wanted to kill some people.
Yep.
But okay, they weren't wearing press jackets. Okay, so fair enough. They opened fire on them, but then why shoot the guy when he was crawling and bleeding to death? Why shoot the van?
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he brings
Why
up.
Shoot the van?
Yeah,
I know it's indefensible. It is literally indefensible.
Yeah, which is perplexing. Why some people would go ahead.
Why
and try
some
to defend
people
it.
we know would.
There simply is no defense of it.
Yeah, and it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And then, we're not going to name names or go into all that, but then the ridiculous subject changing that kept happening too. Like, not just like, I know that conversations evolve and all that, but there was clear cut, he was trying to change the subject.
Sure. Well, basically, to summarize, what happened, all right, we're discussing this video, and this individual was trying to defend it while me and my boy Ryan were just explaining, basically just articulating what was obvious on the film, which is deliberate murder of people. And the response to this was, well, I've donated $100 to WikiLeaks. What have you done?
Yeah, when they were in financial trouble.
Yeah.
So
well, that's all good, and I totally support giving your money to WikiLeaks, but what the fuck does that have to do with whether or not your assessment of their behavior is correct?
Maybe what he was trying to say is that because he gave $100, his assessment of WikiLeaks is correct.
More valuable from a monetary perspective. Yeah. Well, bravo. I'm going to applaud that.
Yeah.
All he's doing is to try to communicate how much he cares about that website, because if you could accuse him of somebody who doesn't like that website to begin with, then you're racist.
Yeah. One more thing on this whole mass murder of these 12 people in New Baghdad. It really should illustrate to people how important the 9/11 myth is, because without that backing up your deluded beliefs of what the fuck we're doing over there, you have no support of it.
Wait, I just got here. What are we doing over there?
Very funny.
Yeah. Well, without the 9/11 myth as fodder to support that, you got nothing to go on.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to remember. It was a while ago, and it was before we went, on air, so to speak, and we were talking about, this particular individual who if you, that was it. I think it came back to me. If you bring up George W. Bush, he'll start screaming. He'll stamp his feet. Yeah. He'll flip out. But you bring up 9/11, the war. Well, not the war. Well, because that's my next point. But you bring up 9/11, and everything is straight up. That's exactly how it happened. Same thing with the war. You bring up the war in general, overarching the war. Then it's the war is bad. But you bring up a specific incident that happened within the war that was bad, and that's bullshit
the
to him.
For the war,
right?
The false flag attacks of 9/11.
Exactly.
It's like this. It's like Bush, the liberal line that is towed, the common liberal response will be basically there was so much criminality that came out of the Bush administration. Such criminals. You can't trust them as far as you can throw them.
Right.
But what do they have to say about 9/11? Oh, well, that must be true.
That's absolutely true.
Well, I'm sorry, but you just acknowledged how this group of criminals, these neocon scumbags, lied about WMDs. They lied about torture. They lied about every rationale for invading both of these Middle Eastern countries, Afghanistan and Iraq. But for some reason, you can't wrap your mind around the fact that they probably lied about 9/11, the entire reason that we were elevated out of our, quasi-peaceful state of pre-9/11 to this blatant imperial war.
It's mind-boggling. It really is.
It's Twilight Zone shit,
It really is.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Really.
It's a continuation of the same Middle East practices we had pre-9/11. However, now it is legitimate.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Now it's viewed as legitimate by the average sheeple out there.
Yep.
Did you ever hear of Operation Desert Shield?
Yeah.
Operation Desert Storm.
I heard of both of those actually.